All right, so tell us a little bit about who you are and your background.
Yeah, so I'm Zach Trimble, marketing major at UCF, about to graduate in December. I didn't start as a marketing major. I started as an engineering major and decided after a while just it wasn't for me. Engineering wasn't really for me. I wanted to work with people and make a team effort. And I kind of always imagined myself helping others. And when I was exposed to sales in my national sales engineering competition that I did right before I switched to marketing, I really realized like sales can be a way of helping people, and it's not just this like very impersonable profession. It can be a very relationship building type thing, and that's the kind of salesperson I want to be. So that's where I kind of have led into now. So
All right, awesome. So explain HireTraining a little bit in your own words.
yeah, so HireTraining is a 10-week training boot camp for sales and recruiting. I focus more on the sales side because that's initially what I definitely wanted to do. But honestly, throughout the program, I've realized that recruiting is also a pretty cool area that I might be interested in later in my career. Um, Really, day one, I realized that this is something that is something super actionable in the career because the fact that we learned Salesforce.com and just a CRM, which is literally something you do day to day, was super eye-opening for me. It's like, wow, yeah, I'm actually getting the experience that I wanted. So throughout this program, I've just gotten so much experience with just cold calling and just trying to build my communication skills as much as possible. And it's just been a really great experience for me.
Oh, I love to hear that. So what would you say were some sales or recruiting skills that you had prior to entering the course?
Right. So, like I said previously, I was in a sales competition. It was the Society of Sales Engineers Club I was in while I was in engineering. And they had a competition that I participated in where for, I think it was 6 weeks each Saturday, I was participating in a 3 hour long class, learning the basics of sales and how the sales process and presentation process works. And so I kind of learned a little bit there, but it was more just, oh, sales is about asking questions and getting to the root of some pains and some needs of a company. But I didn't really fully understand the sales cycle until I went to HireTraining. So I did have a little bit of sales skills before going into this.
A little bit of background, but feeling a little bit better now that you're in the program.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. I kind of see the big picture instead of just like a small portion of it.
Right. So what would you say are some real world skills that you've developed throughout the course?
Not just cold calling. I mean, of course, cold calling and using CRMs and being able to navigate through pain points of a prospect, but also just communication and professionalism as just a general skill. Not gonna lie, I was pretty lazy. Just 6 months ago, I was a procrastinator. I didn't really put too much effort into myself, but I told myself at the beginning of this year, I was like, I gotta just kick into the high gear for myself because that's the type of person I want to be. And so with HireTraining, I've actually like really had a great foundation that's been built over the last 10 weeks for me to build on to really just like get that momentum going as a professional and just keep working on myself.
That's awesome. Good for you for making that change and kind of going for it. I can totally appreciate that. What would you say is one of the most interesting things that you've learned so far?
I would say the different styles of people who sell. Like it's funny that like Merrick and Ian, the two people I see most each day, they're so different in how they approach selling, and and it all works. And prior to entering this, I was like, oh, sales is going to be pretty hard because I feel like I had to say a certain thing at a certain point, but really it's up to your interpretation and up to your personality and the other person's personality. So that's something I've really started to see. And of course from the other people in the cohort, they have completely different styles of my own, and I really love seeing how they navigate through things that I would do totally differently.
It is really interesting, and it's funny because I feel like everybody so far has said the same thing about Ian and Merrick being so completely different, but they're both so helpful in their own
Yep.
ways. And I even see that as like they're my bosses. Like between the two of them, you push their information together, and you just really can come out with some good results. So I totally agree with you on that. What would you say is the biggest difference between yourself now and when you first started hire training?
Motivation, I would say, is I really didn't have like an understanding of how to push myself the right ways. And now I completely have shifted my mindset from for how I am productive. Each day I wake up, like I'm not anxious about the things I have to do. I tell myself, okay, if I'm anxious about something, let's flip it to being excited, because your brain's a funny thing. And when you just say you're excited about something instead of being anxious, you can start it so much easier. And that's the kind of mindset I've been trying to apply every day.
That's awesome. I love that because I can totally be the same way, get very anxious over little things for no reason at all.
Yep.
And you just got to kind of take a step back and just go for it and
Mm-hmm.
appreciate it for what it is.
Yep.
That's great. So would you say, how confident are you in your abilities to perform now?
I'm pretty confident. I'm not only confident in my performance, but also in my ability to learn, because I'm taking on this continuous learning mindset that, each day, as long as I can be better than the person I was yesterday, I'm doing better and I can perform the best I can. And also now seeing what entry level salespeople, the skills that they have versus what I have now, I'm very confident that in my entry level position, I can perform now better than 99% of people that they can hire. So I have that confidence in myself that I didn't have before.
So you would say that stepping into this, if you were going to apply for a sales job or go into an interview, you wouldn't have felt nearly as confident and ready to go as you are right now.
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't, I like it. If I were to walk into a company day one and they hired me, and without this experience that I had the last 10 weeks, I literally would be like, I don't know what I'm doing for the first like 2 months. I'd be like,
How
I
did I
don't
get
know.
here?
Yeah. Like, I don't know why I'm here. Uh, Someone please help me for the love of God. So
I
now
can
I'm just
totally
like,
understand that.
yeah, now I'm like, all right, I know what to do. I have a process that I can kind of follow and build on as I keep growing in my career. So I'm very confident that I can do what I need to do.
Well, that's awesome. That makes me really happy to hear. This is kind of just my own separate question aside from what they had.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say? I know you said earlier this year you had made the decision to kind of better yourself and do what you could to get better in life. And would you say that that was your main reason for deciding to participate with hire training, or was there something else that during your conversation you were like, wow, that sounds great. I love that.
So it definitely was part of just me being like, I was looking for internship opportunities at the time that Merrick called me and talked to me about hire training. And it was really, I wanted something that was very actionable and learning things that I would be doing on a day-to-day basis, because I realized in my classes at UCF, now that I'm, well into my marketing major, that there are certain aspects of a job I have no idea how to do yet. And I realized college isn't going to teach me all of it. Like
Right.
it's going to give me a little bit of a framework, but it's not going to actually teach me the day-to-day process, like a CRM. Like the college isn't going to teach me how to use Salesforce.com.
Right.
But yeah, so it was not only that, but I also really wanted to again challenge myself. I wanted to push myself harder than I ever had, just so I can grow at a rapid pace before I graduated.
So would you say that overall, out of any of the courses in college that you took, that you're learning more real world experiences from this particular program?
100%. Yeah. I mean, like I just had I just completed my sales class for UCF today. So I can see like they focused on how to present a product and how to, different personality types and certain
Right.
things about sales, but it didn't teach you how to do cold calls, how to exactly find prospects. It told you what a good prospect was, but it didn't tell you how to find them. And so it
Right.
was really like the actual physical act of doing the sales job was something I had to learn at higher training and not from college.
Right. Interesting. So if you could go back and you had the option to either take your sales class at UCF or you had the option to just do higher training, which would you say would be more beneficial for you professionally moving forward?
Definitely higher training. I mean, higher training just it gives you it not only does it give me that you know, the idea that I can do the job on a day-to-day basis, but I also have the mindset that I've kind of developed over the last 10 weeks that is intangible from a class like UCF. Like mindset is
Right.
something you build by doing things, and I couldn't do that at with just my class. I had to do that with higher training and actually do it.
Which makes sense too, because when you're in a college course, you don't get quite the one-on-one that you're
Right.
getting with both Merrick and Ian. So you have maybe one instructor that just is teaching the whole class rather than that one-on-one kind of help coaching you through each of your calls. So
Yep.
I think that's really awesome. And I appreciate you answering those extra questions. I just kind of asked them for my own knowledge.
Of
And
course.
I definitely appreciate you sharing all of that with me.
Of course. Of course.